also great. Whatever.
Yep, and we're already falling apart.
Hey, stop.
Yep. Oh, and you always had like a death house too. You just
Everybody
killed
had a
them.
death house. Okay.
Yeah.
There are three kinds of people who play The Sims. There are the ones who literally just play it normally and like replicate their lives entirely. There's the ones that just like to ruin their lives and just be like jerks. And then there's the people that just like to kill them. Okay, going on from there too, one of my favorite things about that game is the cheat system.
The cheats.
For
I
one
don't
reason.
remember the cheats.
So the cheats, the game, it's not so much the cheats that I remember the most, it's what you could do on the cheat menu that was genius that Neversoft thought of.
What?
If you go onto the cheat menu and you write like a swear word, like you write like the F word or something,
Yep.
Spider-Man will just pop up on the screen and punch it into something not a swear. It was so hard to catch the episodes in order. You had to like set a schedule, especially for like a show like Inuyasha, which wasn't like one of like the big shonens at the time.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, like, for me, like, I watched it on YouTube, so I could just be like, episode 1, part 1, episode 1, part 2. And I think I watched it, like, I ended up watching the whole thing, and then I think at one point it dropped on YouTube, so I had to go onto one of those, you know those websites, the sketchy websites that gives you viruses. And then from there, whew.
Well, I'd read it enough to like figure out. Well, I remember at one time I contemplated printing out the game fact in full, and then I realized it was over 700 pages, and I was like, no, they'd kill me if I did that.
Yeah. Well, that's something that you do at school, and you go, oops, I printed it out.
Oh, so no kidding, off topic, but I did that once by accident. This thing's my baby. I paid a lot of money for it. So.
Okay, I won't touch it.
But anyways, so the first multiplayer game we played, which just happened to be the first... I've bought a bunch of fighting games for the system recently, so the first one we decided to play was Balls 3D, the
Balls.
director's cut. And if anyone knows anything about Balls 3D, it's...
It's balls.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the game that was like the 2-disc, right?
Yes.
Yep.
The
The
Well,
girl
I
with the
guess
heart
completely.
boobs, right?
Yeah, Maya.
Yeah, heart boobs. That girl. That's
She's one of the best protagonists in the series.
well. That's how I remember. Oh my god, I looked up Persona 2, and I'm looking at Igor. His nose is so long. Why is Hitler here? Is Hitler in Persona 2?
We're not... Wait. So we only did one track,
Yeah.
and it took us like 20 minutes because we were just fucking around the entire time. Like, we were like constantly crashing into each other, brake checking each other. The one time we both crashed into each other, exploded. That was funny.
That was my favorite part.
I clipped out of bounds and somehow like fell off the stage at one point.
Yep.
But that game is so hilarious because it's literally just nothing but Volkswagen Beetles.
Yep.
To play it, but I still did not have internet access at this
Yeah.
point. So eventually I was over his house and he decided, I'm going to make you an account so you can play the game.
Yep.
And when he said make me account, he meant literally do everything,
Oh.
including the tutorial.
Oh no.
And then gave me the account and the password and said, here you go. So then I go home and I convinced Mom to let me use the computer internet to play the game at least
Yeah.
once, and then immediately change the password compared to the other handheld games.
Yep.
But I always remember this one being particularly goofy
Yeah.
overall.
Well, I remember, like, there's so many weird things, like the rat cave, where you could be Ratman.
Yeah, there was no, you weren't Ratman, you were the Raticator.
Oh, the Raticator. Blah, blah. Basically Batman, but rat.
I don't really know the story behind it, but there was this rare short animated segment called Sonic, like, Man of the Year.
Oh, okay.
And it was Sonic Man
Of the
of
year.
the Year. It was a very short cartoon, and it had really interesting animation. Like,
Wait, is this the one where it was like I saw that cursed image of Eggman?
yeah, where
it's
Eggman
like-
dresses up as Sonic because Sonic was voted Man of the Year.
Yeah.
So he basically cosplays as Sonic to ruin Sonic's image. Gold edition, because they did another gold edition. So then this is where it gets even weirder. So they fired Monster Games abruptly, and then 704 Games was like abruptly taken over by this company called Motorsport Games,
Oh.
who took over the series and then hyped up this next game called NASCAR 21 Ignition. Like, they hyped it up as they were finally gonna like actually do a whole lot. Like, it was gonna be.
Bubba.
It was, yeah. The cover was Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott, and Ryan
Sorry,
Blaney.
I just love the name Bubba.
Hey, it's his name.
Yep.
They're probably three of the most popular drivers in the sport right now. But unfortunately, this game's a hot pile of garbage.
Oh.
Wii games. Eventually, THQ went out of business, and the rights went to 2K Games, who renamed the series like WWE 2K. But they kept the original developer Ukes. The problem is Ukes went out of. What? Oh, are you looking at the glitch photos?
Its mouth and its eyeballs are out of its.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my God.
what happened is it's when they tried to port it to the Saturn that things went to shit.
Oh no.
Because the Saturn, basically the game was running at supposedly at like 2 frames per second.
Yeah.
So then Sega decides, okay, don't worry, we're gonna help you out, and they bring in these third-party porters who. It was a studio known as Point of View.
Yeah.
And they were notable for their Saturn ports at the
okay.
time. Point of View, basically, what they presented to Chris Sen and Offer Allen was essentially a 3D model of Sonic with a spear in the background on a checkerboard thing, and they were like, "Look what we did." Well, it's safe to say Offer Allen and Chris Sen were not impressed.
No.
So. Hey guys, I'm Bill, also known as the Barbecue Games on Instagram.
And I'm Alex, his sister, who brings only chaos.
And together we are the Gaming and Collecting Podcast, a mostly video game centered podcast.
But half the time, we just talk about anime.
And that collecting thing, well, that's mostly just an implication at best,
So come along and enjoy us on this adventure.
as we discuss the games that shaped us. Hey everyone, this is just Bill in Post. I wanted to give you a more in-depth special thanks section to start off this episode. First off, I obviously want to thank our parents for supporting us from the very beginning, along with my very, very close friends Ben and Sunny, and my good friend Matt, special guest on the Dragon Ball Superhero episode. I also, of course, want to thank Cade from the Gaming Memories podcast, Chris and Shane from Retro Hangover, Josh from Still Loading podcast, Kevin Stickerman from the Gaming with Passion podcast, Dave from Remember 64, Philip and Dave from Gaming Together, Dylan from the Offshore Gamecast, Mike and Neil from The GameCube Was Cool, Sean, Brandy, Trey, and Devin from Hey Drunk Gamers, Dave Jackson from Tales of the Backlog, Chase from PlayCube Gamecast, Liv Fruey from Between Two Gamers, Chris from 1 Hour 1 Decision, Aaron from Superpod Saga, and Slade from Retro Game Club. And I also wanted to thank all the wonderful people within the Co-op Podcast Network and all of our supporters for watching the show for the last 2 years. And now, on to our 100th episode. So, how you been?
When was the last time we recorded?
A couple weeks ago. A good amount, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's been a time.
Well, it's December now.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna
I
be.
Christmas decorated my house.
It's gonna be 2023 before we know it.
It will.
Hell, by the time this episode comes out, it basically will be 2023.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how fast this year's going by.
Yeah.
Like, and then in February, it'll be a year since I got my new job, which is crazy to think about.
And you know what's even crazier?
Yeah.
This is episode 100.
What?
We've been doing this for 100 episodes now.
Dang.
Oh,
It doesn't feel like 100.
almost 2 years.
Wow.
Like, we started this late January 2021.
Yeah.
I always remember because you were starting One Piece and now you're obsessed with it.
Hey, it's a good obsession. What can I say?
It's kind of crazy. Just like this was just a little thing. Like
We did for fun.
This podcast was planned out while I was at work at my old job and you were at work probably at your old job.
Yeah.
As we were texting during work hours. funny how that was.
Who doesn't do that?
And we randomly just kind of like we randomly just came up. Well, it wasn't that. I shouldn't say we randomly did because it was an idea we had. I guess we should give the backstory. I guess because if we're gonna do this 100th episode celebration, we should probably give a little bit of the backstory about how the podcast started.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, when Bill started his Instagram page and it was really picking up, I was like, oh, like, you should do some other things, maybe a podcast. I feel like you'd be good at it. Then I jokingly was like, oh, I'll be your co-host. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, I was always kind of hesitant at first, just because I'm not a good speaker by myself. Like, it's one of the reasons why I prefer to have a guest on at times, just because I can't carry a conversation. That's why my Let's Play channel didn't last.
No.
Because it's like I just can't talk by myself for that long of a time.
Yeah.
But I was kind of unconfident with actually speaking in a podcast setting for a while, so I held off. And then I got reached out to by a really great friend of the show named Cade, who is the host of the Gaming Memories podcast. And he had reached out and asked if I wanted to be a guest on his show. And this is back when I was still just an Instagram blogger, and I was really, my presence was mostly just a guy on Instagram who posted pictures.
Yeah.
And like
I collected games.
Well, I was a collector, an Instagram collector, essentially a blogger.
Yeah.
Who shared my collecting, and so yeah,
Didn't have boobs.
that's before the.
I'm kidding.
That's before the algorithm shifted to hurt
What
most
it is
collectors.
today.
Yeah, but yeah, at the time Instagram was very different. So he reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be a guest on his show, and his whole show was like an interview style show where he'd talk to different guests about their memories growing up gaming and stuff, as gaming memories. But the experience was really, honestly, it was a very good experience, and I kind of got the itch, like I wanted to do more podcasting. So I kept in touch with Cade, but I also met a few other podcasters throughout the course of this, and it kind of continued to like grow on me, where I was like, all right, maybe we should think about this podcasting thing. So we started it started basically with that conversation where we were kind of like, Alex's cat's here.
Dilly's
We were kind of like talking about ideas of what this podcast would be, and Alex jokingly said, "I'll be your co-host."
Yeah.
Which I then was like, "Fine, let's do that."
And I was like,
'Cause
shit.
there
I
is-
didn't think you'd say yeah.
We're not the only sibling podcast out there, but it's an interesting dynamic, especially from a gaming perspective.
Yeah.
And because I ran a collecting blog on Instagram, my whole idea was I wanted it to be a gaming podcast that also focused on collecting, which is where gaming and collecting came from.
Yeah.
And then we
Collecting not as much anymore.
added,
Nope.
it's an artifact title these days, but
Yeah. It's the origins.
yeah. But we also added the looking back at the games that shaped us, just to kind of tie it together.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had a name. I made an Instagram account for it. I grabbed the name on Anchor just to have it in storage, and then I think it took us probably a month to actually record an episode.
Yeah. But we had to get supplies. Like I needed Tilly. Sorry, the cat is rubbing on Bill's laptop, and he's like, no.
I don't. Cats have a very frequent tendency to bite laptop
Oh,
screens,
yeah.
so.
And it was she gonna jump in the basket? Aw, that was mean. I think we went to like Best Buy and we bought microphones.
Well, at first we were going to use headsets because my first podcast recording was done with a headset, and it
Yeah.
sounds like shit. But that's besides the point. But yeah, so we went to Best Buy, and originally we were going to try and use headsets with like a splitter, and we found out that's actually not really possible. So like to do cheaply
Yeah.
at the time, because we were still very amateur, and
We didn't know what we were doing.
No,
we were
we
just like,
didn't.
all right, let's try this.
that didn't work. So then we bought mics at Best Buy, and we occasionally revisit that Best Buy at times, and we're always like, this is where it all started.
This is where it all started.
Yeah.
With
So the show.
steak. No, just kidding.
So the show was officially started at.
Best Buy.
Well, it was started in early January
Yeah.
of 2021.
In my apartment. My old
Well,
apartment.
the planning phases was the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
We didn't record the first podcast until I came up to visit you at until I came up to visit at the end of the month
Yeah.
at the apartment, and then we recorded the first 3 episodes in one sitting.
Yep.
And I will always remember that first episode was the most awkward thing we've ever recorded.
Oh my god! It literally didn't you title it like an awkward beginning?
I called it an awkward introduction, and
Yeah.
you know, some people like still tell me to this day that they really enjoy that episode, and I cringe every time I hear it.
I've only listened to it once, and I never have again
So
because
the beginning of this episode, I'm gonna compile some clips from some episodes just to share.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna start with that wonderful,
Oh
wonderful
god!
clip.
She just rubbed her whole face into my head. She being wild. She being wild. She wants the podcast to be about her. Tilly's the real truest fan of the gaming and collecting.
Well, she's been here since the beginning.
She has.
But anyways, so going back, we so we recorded the first 3 episodes in one sitting. I remember because we did the introduction, which was we were struggling very hard to actually talk
yeah.
for more than like half an hour.
Yeah.
And then we did the first Pokemon episode, of an ongoing trend of episodes.
Yeah.
that
But it wasn't like our series. It was just like a Pokemon
retrospective where we talked about our history with Pokemon.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where our idea for the nostalgia aspect came from.
Yeah.
Where we would kind of like recap things from our childhood and try to talk about them in a modern take.
Yeah.
And then we did the 3rd episode, and that's final sitting was Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So we had 3 weeks. We had 3 weeks of content right off the bat. So we were.
So we were good for a bit.
Yeah.
And then in those, it's funny looking back at the early episodes because the very beginning ones, we really tried to keep it like professional.
Yeah.
And we hadn't really found like our niche yet, and we were still, trying to figure things out. So it's funny.
We're
listening
very
back.
stiff, especially in like. I really still like the original Pokemon episode, but my God, we are trying so hard in that.
Oh yeah.
The Animal Crossing one too, to a degree. Although we did get a little goofy in that one.
Yeah.
And then of course we weren't living together at that point, so we had to learn how to record remotely over the internet. Which
Yeah.
the first 2 episodes we did, we used like Google Hangouts, and it was awful.
Yeah.
Like, so the next 2 episodes we did were the Persona 4 episode, and then I think the Sims episode.
Yeah. I
And-
believe so.
Yeah, though. Oh my God! Like trying to record with Google Hangouts was not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because that program is very dated and not great. But yeah, we did that. Like so basically, we'd record on our own ends, and then she'd send me her audio files over,
Yes.
which started an old trend that's kind of died away recently of Alex naming her podcast. Excuse me.
Naming the podcast.
Her podcast audio clips the most demented freaking things ever.
They weren't demented. They were wonderful. What are you talking about?
I might have to share some of those
I'm
later.
gonna pull them up because there's some good ones in there. Like I really, honestly, we should have named them after the things I chose because I'm just saying.
I don't think naming the Nintendo Switch episode "It's the Switch Bitch" would have done well.
What did I name? Okay, so I really didn't start naming anything weird until it all started with the Wii. The Wii is when I just decided to make it weird,
Yeah, you started to go completely overboard.
where I called it Wii Woo.
Wee woo.
Wii Woo. And then there was the flea market, which I just entitled Fleas in all caps. PS2, baby.
Yeah. So in other
Knee
words,
surgery with your friend Ed.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. You get the idea, though. It was some.
Persona.
That one was just kind of.
Hobo parrot murder.
Okay, that one was clever.
Guess which one that is.
But anyways, so back to point. So we were learning how to record remotely, which was a bit of a learning experience, because especially nowadays where like collabs are the big thing.
Yeah.
But then following that, so we did a few more until eventually we got to. Oh, do you remember when we tried to do like a reaction episode?
Oh yeah, that
The
was
reacting-
the
we
Pokemon one,
still-
which we haven't followed up with.
No,
yet.
we'll get to
still
it
need
next
to.
season probably.
Yeah.
But,
well, I played RC. I need to play a little more of RCS, but we still haven't played. And I've played most of Pearl. I think I still need to beat the Elite Four on that. I just
Yeah.
stopped playing because I was like, this is boring.
So we were like, at that point, we still hadn't really figured out what episodes we wanted to do. So we
Yeah.
kind of were like, let's do a reaction episode because those are hip and new. So we did the lone reaction episode for this series, which was reacting to obviously the at that point new Pokemon titles.
Yeah.
And I remember because that was the whole idea for that came from Alex hating the way the Gen 4 remakes looked.
Yes. Well, it was so disappointing. Well, and like my fear behind it too is that, oh my god, if they do this to Black and White, I'll cry, because it's literally my favorite Pokemon game of all time.
Yeah.
And that would be like the next generation would be Black and White.
If we get remakes, I for some reason I highly don't think we're going to.
I hope we don't, because like it will just ruin it, and I'll be sad. I'll be sad.
But after, yeah, but going through those early episodes, eventually we got to probably one of our more personal episodes, and that was the Convention Stories episode.
Yeah, and that's really where we.
And that one's tragic too, because the audio got screwed up on it.
Yeah, it is sad. Like, cause that one I think was the one where we were really like, we really were figuring it out, like what works for us, you know,
Yep.
and getting comfortable. And Tilly's whipping me with her freaking tail in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Um,
But then following that, then we finally got to the point where I think we finally figured it out.
yeah.
Which was episode 9, Weird PS1 Games from Our Childhood. Which was, that was the point where we kind of picked up our formula.
Yeah.
Where we find, it doesn't have to be professional, it doesn't have to be a specific topic. It can be something that appeals to us personally.
Yeah.
So the idea behind this episode was we just...
Tiny Tank.
I love
It was
Tiny
Tiny Tank.
Well, it was,
I wanted to talk about Tiny Tank.
it was mostly just like, because the whole idea was we played a lot of shitty and not so shitty games on the PS1 back in the
Yeah,
day.
because that was our console growing up.
Mm-hmm. And I figured, let's just take all these games that we had back in the day from... It spawned from an Instagram post, actually, I had, where I found these 3 god-awful license games just buried in a box. And I was like, hey, remember these? And I was like, we should talk about these.
And I was like, no.
But then
Unless it's Tiny Tank.
Yeah. But that was also the episode where we kind of finally figured out, like, you know, our How You Been segment.
Yeah.
The-
What you drinking?
What
how
you drinking, how you been.
Oh yeah, what are you drinking today, Bill?
A ginger ale Canada Dry.
What am I drinking?
A Sprite, because you have an addiction.
I don't have an. She really wants to speak this episode, but she keeps whipping me over her tail, so I'm holding on to it so she can stop.
Rude.
She's a rodent. She's my rat.
Yeah.
I love her.
But, yeah, so we've really... That was, I think, the point where things finally took off.
Yeah.
Because from there on, every episode after was very, like, special. Like,
Yeah.
it made a lot of sense. I think the only one where we kind of regressed a little was the 3DS episode. Because we were still we hadn't fully figured it out by that point. But then we kept going. Like, we did, like, Nickelodeon games. Or
Ape Escape.
Ape Escape. And, of course, the most important...
Anime one!
We did our
my favorite episodes, the anime
You know my favorite part about the anime episode?
What?
That is still, like, the greasy chicken conversation in the beginning.
And we still talk about that today.
Anytime we pass a Wayback Burger now, I'm always like, do you remember the greasy chicken conversation?
And I go, don't remind me. Oh, so
Yeah.
gross.
But,
Greasy chicken.
yeah, that was... The anime episode was, like, for a long time, like, the most, like... It blew up so oddly, like, spectacularly, that, like, we didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the beginning of the slow process of realizing...
Becoming more an anime podcast.
Yeah, that was that was the beginning of us basically just being like, you know what, we're a gaming podcast, but we're also an anime podcast.
Yeah.
And because for a while the running joke was we were just an anime podcast in denial,
Yeah.
and then we finally kind of settled down and just established
Yeah.
this is going to be, we're not going to be strictly a gaming podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's collecting in the title, but we barely talk about that.
Yeah. We
sometimes.
collect other things.
We do.
Bill collects buttons.
I do on my backpack.
No, I'm talking about like the buttons on your jacket. You got a button collection.
I do not.
Yeah, you do. He does. He's lying. Ow! He punched me.
I did not.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You did punch me. You jerk. Tilly, attack. Tilly, use bite.
You know what another super significant
I
episode that we recorded in season 1 was?
What?
The 3DO experience.
Yeah.
That was the start of our hardware retrospectives.
Yep.
And one of the key things behind that episode was the whole idea was basically I bring over an obscure console and we're just going to play a bunch of games on it and then we're going to talk about it after.
Yeah.
So that kind of started how we would handle all of our hardware episodes later on. Like, 'cause then we followed it up with the Dreamcast, and then we learned that Alex hates the N64. And then
It's just the worst.
then we found out she prefers the Atari Jaguar.
The Jaguar is just so much better than the N64. You can fight me, whoever.
To be
you
fair,
wanna
though,
be.
the Jaguar episode was very fun and well done.
And it's just such a good console.
You know what the
can
funniest part
play a
about
game
that
with
episode
the
was?
Mutant Ninja Penguins.
Yeah, I know. You know what the funniest part of that episode was?
What?
We recorded that around Thanksgiving because that's what you were home for the Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
So
no,
we
I
recorded-
came home to visit.
We we didn't record the episode, but we did all the gameplay stuff for the Jaguar at the time, which was funny. But I'm thinking, other than that, season 1 was very much the learning season. Like,
Yeah,
we were very
it was
much.
us figuring it out. We do our convention retrospectives too. You know, where we talk about the conventions we went to, the Boba Tea story,
Mhm.
the Boba Tea.
We talk about different conventions. Yeah, we
Continued with anime. Oh, plug and play, the plug and play consoles. That was a good one. I enjoyed that one.
we also had a few random episodes that weren't like gaming related at all. Like, we did that one talking about old TV shows.
Yeah.
That's still our worst performing episode though, but I'm still blaming that partially on, like, that was the one time we missed a Saturday, and we posted our episode on a Wednesday of all
Yeah.
things because my computer shit the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty weird.
We talked about video game controllers.
The controllers one was pretty.
Oh wait, I think that's.
No, you're going into
I'm
season
going
2.
into season 2. Shit.
We also did the.
Didn't we talk about alternative controller, or was that also?
Well, we did. We did the motion controls and stuff.
Yeah.
We also did a Yu-Gi-Oh episode, which was vaguely gaming related.
Yeah.
One of my favorites were the episodes where we talk about something really specific.
Yeah.
Like, we did we did an entire episode talking about the Windows Start menu of all things.
Yes.
Like not the Start menu, the Start menu games folder.
Yes. Purple Place.
Purple Place.
And we also did the Mario Odyssey retrospect. The Mario Odyssey.
Well, it
one.
wasn't Mario Odyssey. It was 3D Mario
Oh
games.
yeah, that one was fun too because I'd never really played like a 3D Mario game until Odyssey. And I loved Odyssey. It was so much fun. I gotta play it again.
That is honestly, that's a perfect game in my opinion. And then we also, a few of the other random ones we had was we had the music episode with my greatest rant ever.
Yeah.
The one about the ceiling leaking at work and ruining it, and causing me to lose 3 weeks of work.
Yep.
Because of a fucking leak in the ceiling. Someone just threw something in our trash can outside. That's lovely. Anyways,
Tilly yelled too in agreement.
we also did the concert retrospective too because we had just gone to our first concert post COVID.
Oh yeah.
So we did an episode talking about our favorite concert memories, which was fun.
Yeah.
We haven't really done an outlandish episode like that in a long time because we've kind of established our area we like to hang around in. But
Yeah.
those were fun ones from back in the day.
Yeah.
And then
Bless
and then we pretty much wrapped up season 1. I thought season 1 went very well.
Yeah, it was a good start, to the podcast.
Yep. And then we launched season 2.
New intro.
New intro. Yep. We're gonna have to make a new one for 3 too.
Oh no.
But we actually had an intro, not my. Oh yeah, that's a thing that got lost in time.
Oh
my,
yeah,
my
you
op-
do an
my,
intro for every episode.
my
Well, at
opening-
first we tried to flip flop them, and then you just ended up doing them.
Well, we tried to flip flop them, and it got really hard when we weren't in the same room.
Yeah.
Because I'd be trying to feed you lines, and you'd be
I'd be like, I don't know what to say.
it'd be take 5, Alec. No, okay, redo it. Screw it, I'll do it. So I did the little introductions for every episode, and then by halfway through season 1, I was like, I fucking hate doing these things. There's some people really like them though; they thought they were very fun. Me
Yeah.
personally, though, I was like, these are miserable, and I hate
I
doing.
don't like doing
I
these.
don't like doing them. They're a struggle. If you listen to them, the farther I go on, they get worse and worse because I just stopped caring.
Yeah.
To the point where by the end of season 1, I was like, let's just have a standard introduction that we use for every episode now.
Yeah.
But we'll keep the teaser clip because I love the teaser clips.
Yeah, the teaser clips are always so fun.
Well,
Because
the
you
teas-
always pick me saying the weirdest shit.
I've had some great ones too.
Well, yeah.
See,
yeah.
but I love the teaser clips because when we do for this episode, I'm going to open with a bunch of clips. I have a bunch of clips on standby right away
Wonderful.
that I can use, which is great. But yeah, season 2, honestly, we pretty much we end every season on New Year's Eve essentially.
Yeah.
Last year we did our New Year's retrospective where we kind of talked about every episode we had done at that point. Not going to do that again this year because that'll get stale. And we're also doing this episode, which is
Yeah.
basically a recap.
Yeah.
But season 2 was interesting. You know what's funny about the season 2 debut?
Yep.
We were talking about games that we were looking forward to this year, and literally, like, I think most of them are finally out, but like some
Yeah.
of them still aren't. Like, I'm pretty sure Final Fantasy 16 is still not out.
Yeah. That is funny.
We did talk about like Sonic Generations and other stuff, though. Like, it was a cool little adventure.
Yeah.
And then moving on from that, we had the early season 2 episodes were pretty unique
Yeah.
because we recorded like 7 of them in one sitting.
Yeah, like we did the Virtual Boy.
Like we had we had our first holdover episode, which was we talked about. I did that licensed games episode, which was
Yeah.
like the one holdover from season 1.
Yeah.
The Humongous Entertainment Games one was great too because that
I
was.
love that one because it's so our childhood.
You know what's fun too was like we had like. If you look at our logos, the progression of our logos like gets so much more detailed as
The
they go
Wild
on.
World of Mascots.
Yeah,
Where Bill
Alex.
made me a pickle.
Yeah, I still remember when I sent you that thumbnail. You were just like, "Why am I a pickle?" And my response was, "Why not?"
I said, "Fuck you."
You're like, you couldn't have found anything better. And then she sends me so many Bitmojis that could have also worked. I'm like, I don't know, the pickle was funny. So we went with the pickle.
Yep.
There was also, and then we had
This season was the birth
Of
the
two
birth
series.
Of 2 series. One was shit and one was great.
no. Actually, 3 series.
All
technically.
right, 2.
2 were pretty good.
2
One
were-
was
No, one was pretty good. One is amazing, and one was just shit.
Yeah. So the
Bad idea.
The first series we introduced was our RuneScape series, which we do need to get back to at some point.
Yeah, I need to play some more soon.
But we did 3 episodes going over our RuneScape adventures. Like the first one was kind of a retrospective, and the other ones have been kind of just talking about how Alex is learning how to play RuneScape again.
Yeah. I hate Quest.
Yeah. The second series we created, which is probably our most successful of this season,
It
was
will continue into the next season.
was Anime Swap.
Anime Swap.
Anime Swap was Alex's pet
That was
project,
my baby.
and
Besides my fur baby.
yeah, essentially because we didn't want to just keep doing anime episodes because those got so out of hand. Like
Yeah.
the first one was pretty crazy. The second one was just straight up insane.
Yeah.
And the whole idea we had was essentially we'd pick 2 anime. I'd pick one, she'd pick the other, and they didn't
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
have to be similar at all. Honestly,
No.
we prefer if they're not similar because
Yeah.
that's more of the fun.
Yeah.
But essentially, we'd each watch. So at first, we were doing just kind of movies or like small portions of episodes,
Yep.
and then we compare and contrast the two and talk about them. But it wasn't really a competition or anything. It was more just kind of like, yeah, let's get each other to watch these random shows.
Yeah.
So of course, we started with Inuyasha and One Piece just
Yeah.
because that's our thing.
Yeah.
It's
Bill
got
loves Inuyasha. I love One
Yeah.
Piece. In case this is your first time listening.
yeah.
And I'll never stop talking about it.
It's the funniest thing is the first episode you were talking about just starting.
I know! And now I'm obsessed.
Hmm.
And we watched Red. I won't watch it again.
Yeah. But anyways, going from there, that series has expanded very strongly though.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
honestly, it's gotten the only reason why it's taken so long to do the next one, the current one we're working on, is just because we picked really long series this time
Yeah.
around.
But it was fun. It was like fun to watch something completely different
Yeah.
to at least one of us. Yeah.
But that more on that next year, definitely. And then the final series we did. Now this was a good idea on paper that just got very old very fast. We decided to talk about every single Pokemon ever created.
Yep.
And it's,
And for our mom, she never got on board.
so our mom is our biggest fan, and even she was like, "We don't want to. I don't want to watch these. This is dumb."
This is boring.
I was like, "Thanks, mom."
Thanks.
So yeah, we moved away from. We did every Pokemon. We did. It took 8 parts.
Yep.
I fell asleep in the last one.
And we're gonna have to do part 9
Yeah, eventually.
for whatever the purple and blue.
For Scarlet and Violet. or
Yeah,
whatever.
where all the starters are ugly.
Yeah. Not looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those were 3 ongoings that we did this season. I honestly really liked the Anime Swap is great.
Mm.
RuneScape was fun.
Oh, we did an episode where we actually talked about collecting.
Oh yeah, the collecting episode, which was oh my god, that episode was a train wreck to record.
Yeah, that was the one
Because
where
Alex's internet shit the bed.
it just kept on shitting itself.
Like, and we had to delay. Like, the first part of that episode was recorded like 2 weeks before the rest of
Yeah.
it was.
And it was like, because it was so bad. But we did it, and it was fun.
You remember too when we went to record the actual episode finally?
Yeah.
Your freaking Wi-Fi crapped itself, and we were like, "What the hell?"
No. I was like, that episode was cursed. But it was a good one.
That was a bunch of bangers at that point because we also had talking about video game music and The Sims handheld.
I love that episode. That's actually one of my favorites of the year because, like, the Sims handhelds are just so wonky and weird and, like, such, like, the black sheep of, like, the Sims universe, but they're so great.
Honestly, this was about a spree in between the Pokemon episodes because we would do. So the way we spread out the Pokemon episodes is we do a Pokemon episode, then we'd have 3 other episodes, and then we'd do the next one because we didn't want to just blast everyone with Pokemon for like like 2 months.
Yeah.
So instead, we decided it actually helped us get really creative with our ideas for in between episodes.
Yeah.
So we did this. This was actually a big recording sitting where we recorded. We did a Simpsons games episode. That one was a blast.
Yeah. Because at this point, you still weren't living
No.
with me. Yeah.
No, we hadn't moved in. I hadn't moved. We're actually getting to when I had to move. So there was the Simpsons games, there was farming games, and then a fun one, which something I'd like to revisit was we took a look back at my top 25 RPG list. Which to me, that's still one of the more fun episodes we did this year.
Yeah.
And I actually want to do more lists in the future because we've had some success with those.
Yeah, no, they've all been fun.
So the first episode that we recorded after I had to move was the Sonic cartoon episode.
Yeah. It's an anime, Bill.
It is.
Anime.
Well, one of them's an anime.
An anime. One of them, yeah. Oh,
Yep.
that was a fun one.
And the Anime Boston episode, our one negative convention
Oh my
episode.
god, yeah. That was such a bad convention. Like, we couldn't. They couldn't all be winners, and that's true.
We also did a NASCAR games episode, Barbie games, South Park,
Barbie!
the console wars. I love the console wars thumbnail with the boom.
I really like, too, your most valuable games in your collection one.
That one was interesting, because, like, it's funny now because that episode's entirely out of date now.
Yeah, no.
Like, the prices
we were
have
looking
shifted.
this morning, and, like, some of them had already gone even more.
Mm.
Like, it's crazy. Like, some of the... Like, that one was just cool to me, because it just shows, like, how valuable these video games actually are.
Oh, yeah. And then we both did our top 25 anime list. That one was fun.
Yeah,
That
that one
also
was fun.
Took forever to
And it was
figure out.
funny with the overlapping, because some of the shows are our favorite, but then, like, some were, like, surprising. Like, you had Dragon Ball Super lower than I had it. Like, I had it, like, in my top 10, and you didn't have it up there. So,
There was some shows where you were like, "Oh, really? That's interesting. I didn't expect that."
yep.
Yeah, that
Then
was.
our moving
Oh yeah, that
stories-
was the last episode we recorded before our like 5-week hiatus during
Yeah.
the move.
Which that was crazy, and we did a whole podcast on the moving
Talking
story.
about
So
also along with Retro World.
yeah, in Retro World, because that was the weekend of the move, so it kind of was no choice. Had to had to get both done.
Yep.
But I love my place. It's great.
Yep. We finally established. Now we have a better. It's easier to do things, and we don't have to be in the same room all the time, which is great.
Which is nice. And I have a big kitchen.
Yep. And then we did our yearly Halloween episode, which was great.
Yeah.
We did another anime swap, and then the next few episodes after that were pretty recent actually. I mean, they've only come out recently, but we did. This was the beginning of we've been experimenting for season 3. We did the Bad Games episode, which was that was actually a test recording for what was to come the next couple of weeks, where we had guests come on, where we had Kevin or Snickerman from Gaming with Passion come on, and then we had
Thanks again for coming on.
Yep. Don't
It was
worry,
so
we're gonna thank a bunch of people at the end of this.
Oh, okay.
And then my friend Matt joined us for Dragon Ball, talking about Dragon Ball Superhero.
Yeah.
And honestly, the guest episodes went so well. I'm actually pretty sure next season we're gonna do more of those.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I want to bring more people in, and I want to like share our weird world with them.
Yes.
Yeah, that awkward silence was great. But other than that, like obviously we just put out a game. Well, at the time of this recording, we had just put out a GameCube episode,
Yeah.
and then a couple others. Like we also started.
Where the GameCube episode where we talk about Robin selling X. And
Oh yeah, and the Amazon package driver that fucking photo bombed our fucking episode.
Well, sound bombed. Would it be sound bombed?
Well, no, it was bad because he not only rung the doorbell in the middle of it, but then he's outside our window going, "Amazon," and I'm like, just leave the package. Like, you don't have to like alert us. Oh, yeah, that was
well,
weird.
at least he was letting us know we had a package.
Like, it's better than the ones that just whip it at the door. That's been a thing lately. But then other than that, we also started a new side series, basically a spin-off of Anime Swap, if you want to say. 3 anime films.
Yeah.
Where we've because we do full series now, we've expanded into now we're going to talk about films separately in its own series.
Yeah.
And that was pretty fun. And then we did one last final traditional episode for the year before this, which was the Wild World of Development Hell.
Yeah. That one was interesting to talk about.
Well, just because games are fucking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what would you say has like been one of your some of your favorites over the year?
Well, I already said a few. Like, I love the one where we talked about like your most valuable games. That one was really interesting. I love the guest ones. It was really fun to bounce off another person.
Have someone just
minus Tilly.
Yeah, well, she's a permanent guest.
And I love the farming one.
Farming was fun because we actually had to find how many farming games. We've played more since then.
Yeah.
We honestly should do a farming part 2 at some point.
We should. I need to play more farming games because I love them.
Yeah, all the anime swaps have been great.
All the anime swaps.
I still love the 5th one where we did Azumanga Daioh and Shield Hero because that's where we basically.
Well, and that one's one of my favorites too because that was a show like you didn't really have any like super interest in watching, and then you were like, oh my god, like now you're almost a bigger fan than me. So.
Not as much as Slime. I think I got more into Slime.
Yeah, Bill got super into Slime too, which is a cool thing. That's one of my what I really enjoy about the series because I constantly bug him to be like, oh, you should watch this, or you should watch this, so you should watch this show, and he's like, oh, you should watch this show, and it's like we never find time, but it's like it's nice that we make time to watch this stuff and cross them off our anime list too.
Yeah, I definitely I love the console retrospectives. Those have been some of my favorites.
Yeah.
Over the years, especially the obscure consoles. Those have always been the more fun ones, like 3DO, Jaguar, Virtual Boy, even Dreamcast to a degree.
Dreamcast.
Because I want to do Saturn next year at some point.
Yeah.
Saturn, Sega CD, 32X, like all those fun. Maybe an Atari 2600 episode. That would be interesting, especially because that Atari Anthology fucking collection's out now.
Yeah.
Which would be really cool to look into. I'm trying to think, regrets, I'd probably say with Pokemon, didn't come out exactly the way I wanted it to.
No, it's just, but, you didn't know, so we tried.
It's funny that the Pokemon retrospectives actually kind of went exactly with my opinions of the series, where it's I just got burned out of it and, stopped caring as it went on.
I mean, you freaking fell asleep during one.
To be fair, though, Sword and Shield itself put me to sleep. So.
Yeah, Sword and Shield, it's one of those games that I wouldn't, necessarily pick up and play again.
Yeah.
I'll go back to Arceus, but I don't think I'll go back to Sword.
What's funny, though, is, that you'll get random, moments of life in those, whenever a Pokemon's name in particular I find really funny, pops up. I remember, in Gen 5, there was, Clink!
Clink!
I got really excited by that for no reason. Oh, God. Things were it was an interesting idea, definitely.
Yeah.
Not really well executed. I think. You remember I wanted to do that in one episode? Yeah, that was.
Yeah, you were insane. Well, then I remember we did the Sonic one that we originally.
Oh yeah, the first time we did a 2-parter, because we honestly we probably nowadays could have pulled that off in one episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, we split Sonic into 2 episodes because that was insane.
More content.
I'm trying to think if we had any real stinkers over the course. Have you had any episodes that you weren't really happy with?
I don't think so. I think it was mostly the Pokemon ones. Those ones were just the ones that didn't go. I mean, there were some that definitely they weren't as we didn't get as many top listens as we thought. Because I think it was the which one was it? the Humongous Entertainment game. So
That one was a slow burner because
It
that
did-
one picked up later.
Oh,
as
okay, it did
went on.
pick up later. I just remember in the beginning it was like, oh, it's not getting a lot of views.
So an episode that I admitted, like we first did it, I thought it was gonna suck was actually the Nintendo Switch like shenanigans episodes.
Yeah.
Because I remember we did the first one we did strictly because we
We needed, well, wasn't it like we needed content?
the
and-
Xbox died. Remember?
Yeah, the Xbox died.
Because we
the
were gonna
first
we
time.
were gonna do the Burger King games,
Yes.
which we later redid.
Yes.
And
Was
then
that season 1 or season 2?
season 1. That was one of the final episodes of season 1.
Hmm.
We did the Burger King games, but we were also going to do a Sonic 06 episode, which we are going to revisit that one pretty soon. Trust me on that,
Yes.
because Alex wants to play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did the Nintendo Switch multiplayer shenanigans episodes.
Yep.
The first one I thought was going to suck. Like I was very much like not happy with it, and then it came out and I was like, it's actually pretty fun. Like it's so stupid but simple. It was so, and it ended up doing so well that I was like, let's do another one sometime in the future. So we ended up doing a second one, which was also pretty well received. Some of the more dated episodes I feel like might not be my favorites, like the Switch 4-year retrospective. I feel like is a bit dated now.
Yeah, because the Switch isn't going anywhere anytime
No, I prefer like our more timeless episodes. Like I'm not gonna lie, nowadays I would have never done a freaking like reaction episode.
soon. Yeah.
Like that was us being really desperate for content at
Well,
the
we
time.
needed something, and that was towards the early beginning too. So
There is also a big part of what I want to do with season 3 is like some of the early episodes I feel like we could have done better,
yeah,
which is why I think we're gonna revisit a lot of
yeah,
them
like
with
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, Sims,
Yeah,
like
I'd definitely love to revisit.
Ace
maybe
Attorney,
get some like
Sonic.
guests. I'd even like to go over like Persona more deeply as well.
Hell, even Pokemon. I feel like we could do a better actual. Well, actually, we're gonna do that because we have to follow up that reaction episode
We do.
because we said we would.
we said we would, and we don't break our promises here.
Yeah, but yeah, that honestly, it's crazy. It's been a 2-year run. We're 100 episodes. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna come back to some more fun retrospective stuff, and we'll see you in a minute. And we're back.
No, I'm front.
Whatever. So we've been talking about the history of the show for a bit, but now actually one thing we wanted to do was we wanted to do a Q&A, and just like we had reached out to a bunch of people through Twitter, Instagram, and podcast server that we're on.
Yeah.
And we got a bunch of responses. Some of them are, some were very good. Others were, I think, a joke. But I'll do my best to answer. But yeah, so we're gonna go over these real quick. So the first question we got was, this was from Alejandro from A Random Gamer's Corner, a good friend of the show.
Hi.
And his question was, how does it feel to have gotten to episode 100? Also, is there a topic that you're surprised y'all haven't covered yet? So, how does it feel that we got to 100?
It doesn't really feel like it's been 100 episodes.
It's actually surprising. Like, when I realized we were going to make 100 episodes this year, I was like,
What?
holy crap.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, the season started with episode 50.
Yeah, so we did 50 episodes this year, which I guess makes sense, like, when you do all the math out. But
Well, it's especially interesting, too, because we're a weekly show. Like, we're not, like, a bi-weekly, but we're
Yeah.
also not... Because some people do, like, multiple episodes a year. Like, they'll do a midweek, and then they'll do a end-week episode, which is a completely different style. Like, news shows, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because some people will do, like... their main show on the weekend, and then they'll do like a news segment on like the weekday. But I mean, that's all. It's how you do how you stand out.
yeah,
But to us, it was interesting because we just kind of got to like 100.
we were just like, we're
I
here
was like,
now.
I was like, wow, it's gonna be episode 100 is gonna come out before the end of the year. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, that would be really cool if we could end the season off that way. And then I did the math. I'm like, oh, we're gonna have one more after it. Well, that's not nearly as fun, but whatever. But yeah.
Close enough.
And also, his second part of his question was, is there a topic that you're surprised we haven't covered yet? Some of the consoles, I'm surprised. Like,
Yeah, I'd like to do some more console retrospectives. I think we already touched on it. I'd like to do the Saturn one. I'd like to revisit the N64 as well. I'd like to give it a second chance with that different wonky controller.
oh
But
yeah, with
if
the
it's
special
still
controller.
shit with the controller, I'm doubling down that it sucks.
There is a few game series that I would like to cover, but Alex has not played.
Well, I gotta start playing them, I guess.
So we gotta kind of. I
Like
think.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I really want to do a Fire Emblem
Okay,
episode at some point.
Give me one to play, and I will play it, and then we can talk about it, and
Well-
I'll at least have context.
We'll figure something out there. But yeah, that's a couple. I mean, other than that, maybe like. I'm surprised we haven't done a straight up One Piece episode yet, or.
Yeah, we
So-
gotta do one.
I feel like it'll probably be. I mean, we're actually planning on doing something similar with Dragon Ball at some point, so.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. But thanks for the question, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so the next question we got was from, speaking of N64, Dave from Remember 64 asks, what's a game you've grown to love even more over time, whether it be because you replayed it or you just thought about it more and more and appreciated what it offered? So this one is interesting to me because I feel like the easy answer would be,
Persona.
well, Persona 4 Golden, but I love that game from the start.
Yeah.
So I want to, this is where it gets interesting now because I'm actually going to have to think about this a little bit. Do you have any?
I was gonna say, actually Black and White for Pokemon. Especially now that I've been playing a lot of the newer games and stuff. I went back and I played a little bit actually recently, and I just, like, that game is just, I feel like it was, like, some of the peak of Pokemon. Like, before it was all, like, you got all these free buffs and stuff, like the XP share and stuff. It was the last one where you really had to try. It had a cool story, and, like, I go back to it a lot. Like, I'll always be like, this was my favorite Pokemon game, and everything is shit with Pokemon now. Minus Arceus. Everything else, though, not so good. So, definitely one that I look back on fondly.
Okay. So for me, this is tough because I've played a lot of games over the years.
Yeah, you
And
sure have.
I also am Mr. kind of like, I generally tend to not hate games as much as the average person does. So a part of me wants to say no, because I haven't finished that game yet. I'm still not sure on that one. I'm not going to mention that. We're going to forget that. Ignore that one. Damn. I guess maybe something like Final Fantasy 13. Like, no, but I don't love that game. I like it. This one's hard.
Yeah. Sucks to be you.
You know?
just kidding.
This one's interesting, but actually RuneScape in a way.
That's a good one, actually.
It's hard because it's an MMO, but I mean, I was big into RuneScape back in the day, but I think now I've just kind of I've grown a new appreciation for it because like COVID, like I had nothing else to do, so I just played RuneScape for most of it, and like I kind of grew a new like love for it, like just in a different kind of way. Like I'm following the lore, following the world. I love just seeing how the game's improved over the years.
Yeah.
Depending on who you ask. I'm going to say RuneScape.
Nice.
That one actually made me think, Dave. Thank you for that question.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. And also, speaking of N64 Revisited, we're going to have to bring Dave on for that one at some point.
Yes.
But moving on now. So this one comes from Schnickerman from Gaming with Passion, guest of the show.
Yes.
His question was, what was your favorite Sims expansion pack from any game? And what was the best anime video game we ever played? So, I guess to start with the Sims expansion packs, I'm gonna go with Sims 2. So, I probably want to say honestly the university going to college expansion pack. I just thought that was fun.
It added a lot of gameplay.
It did add a lot, even though I never went to college, so I have no idea how accurate it was.
Yeah. I would say my favorite was Seasons. Sims 2 Seasons. Because, I don't know, I just think, like, I wish it was something that was built into the game already.
Yeah.
But no. Oh, okay, I thought she was going to scratch my couch. I got her. I've got a cat. Oh, I got a cat. She doesn't like it. But Sims was definitely my favorite. Sims 2 Seasons was definitely my favorite. Because Sims 2 It's just the best out of all the Sims
Yeah,
games.
it really is.
Nothing will ever compare. Sims 4 is bare. I don't know. I find things that I like about it, but then there's things I miss from Sims
It's gotten
3.
better. Sims 4 has
Yeah.
gotten better, but it's still not 2.
Yeah.
And then the second part of his question was, what was the best anime video game we've played? So, see, this one's complicated because I'm trying to like distinguish nostalgia based from like just like technicality. The best anime game I've ever played from a technical standpoint is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, because that is like the most complete game I think I've ever played
Is
it.
that a fighting game?
No, that's the one that's the straight up RPG.
Oh, okay.
That's a great game. Nostalgically, though, I'd actually probably say Inuyasha and the Secret of the Curse Mask, which was the RPG on PS2.
See, I feel like mine is going to change when One Piece Odyssey comes out, because I just already know it's going to be my favorite. When it comes out, I already know it's going to be my favorite. I'm going to play it 24/7. I can't wait for it to come out.
But at this point,
well, one of my favorite ones is actually Jump Force, because I just love how wonky of a universe it is where all these random anime shows come together, especially with Koro Sensei. Playing as Koro Sensei, giant yellow octopus man with everyone else. It's so funny. It just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And I like fighting games, so.
No, fighting games are fun, like, because you also have that, you've also got that that JoJo's fighting game.
Yeah, I
There's
can
also
play
you have
that.
that, and you've got a couple One Piece fighters on the PS4 you can play as well.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but
If it's a fighting anime game, I'll probably enjoy it.
yeah, I mean the RPG ones have been really good lately though. Like Kakarot, definitely probably the best anime game from a technical standpoint. But nostalgically, I really did like that Inuyasha game on PS2. Now moving on. So thanks, Kevin, for sending us that. By the way.
Thank you.
Now next one comes from Chase from the PlayCube Gamecast, another friend of the show. So his question was, which 3 of the previous starter Pokemon would you choose in a new
Bulbasaur.
region? In a new region game, kind of like Legends Arceus. Also, which band would you name your JoJo stand? So, I'm actually going to do the second question first.
Okay.
That'll be easier.
Okay.
I would totally name my JoJo stand A Fire Inside.
A Fire Inside?
A Fire Inside.
Well, they're kind of like, so they take the band, but it's kind of also named after, like, some of the actual songs, because there's, like, Killer Queen, which is...
Oh,
me.
well, if that's the case, then The Great Disappointment.
The great... Oh, my God. I thought it would be Snowcats.
Snowcat. I could do so many AFI songs. That'd be great.
See, I need something. Apparently, my Spotify told me that in the mornings I like to listen to angst. So I should pick something angsty.
Well, actually, if I'm gonna be real, Total Immortal.
Total Immortal.
That's a great AFI song. That would be great for a stand name.
I don't know. See, I don't know. Like, for me, it would be really hard. Like, because I don't know. I don't know. That's a really tough question.
I'll let you think on that.
Okay.
So then I'll go back to
Pokemans.
So which 3 of the previous starter Pokemon would you choose for a new... So basically if they did like an Arceus 2.
Yes.
So that was actually a fun thing with Arceus, was the whole, like, it was 3 rando starters.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I guess grass type would obviously be Trico. Just, you guys know me. So it would be Trico. Oh, hey, hiccups.
I got 2 in there.
It's not a tradition without those.
No, I figured it out. I figured out which one.
Okay. But anyway, so yeah, Trico for the grass starter. For fire, I'd probably do Litten from the Sun and Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And for water, well, they already did Oshawott, so I'd probably Froakie. So I do Froakie, Litten, and Trico.
Okay. For me, well, I'll do this first. For me, obviously, Bulbasaur would be my grass. See, this is the harder one. And then I'd probably have to say Torchic for my fire, because I really like Blaziken.
Mm-hmm.
And then water. Water would probably be Piplup.
Piplup?
Because I used Piplup before, and I really liked Piplup, and I like his Emperor Penguin.
Empoleon.
Empoleon, yes.
Those are good. Honestly,
Yeah.
I like how we both had completely different ones too, from like
Bulby!
different games.
Yeah.
That was fun.
But it's hard though because like I love Bulbasaur, but I also love like Superior is one of my favorite grass types as well.
Oh, Cypheria.
Yeah.
Superior.
I thought Superior.
Superior,
I don't know.
whatever.
I don't know.
The Gen 5.
But then I also really like Typhlosion, so it's
Well,
tough.
Typhlosion was already picked. 'Cause
Oh,
he was
okay.
in the first one.
Yeah. So, and then I thought of it. I'll also be AFI, but mine will be Trash Bat.
Trash Bat. Trash Bat.
Trash Bat. I just throw trash at people and I swing bats around.
I'm the Trash Man.
I'm the Trash Man.
This has gotten insane real quick. But thanks, Chase, for sending that.
Thanks.
So next we got I'm going off of his Discord name, so it's Marty Russ of the podcast REVGM, which is a good music podcast you guys should check out, by the way. But his question was, what are your 3 favorite video games of which you enjoy the soundtrack?
Persona.
Well, I mean, Persona 4, that one's cheating. That's too obvious, though.
Yeah.
I want to think of something that's more like obscure. I mean, Sonic 06.
Sonic 06,
the soundtrack's better than the game.
That's definitely one.
I'm trying to think of older games. Because they knew.
I know, Herb, Sims in the City.
Hey, that's
where the music is the Black Eyed Peas.
Well, there's the PS2 version, which is all Simlish Black Eyed Peas, and then there's also the GBA DS game where the soundtrack just slaps for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm trying. This is tough because like these are soundtracks are so freaking subjective. Comic Zone, I love Comic Zone soundtrack. Some of the best freaking Genesis music you'll ever hear. What else do we got?
I loved, one of mine was definitely the Mario Odyssey soundtrack. Mario Odyssey had beautiful music.
Mario 64 soundtrack. The ending theme to Mario 64 is still one of my favorite music.
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley's great.
Stardew Valley has wonderful music.
We've gone beyond 3 at this point. I'm sorry. It's just so many good ones.
I've only said 2.
I've said a lot.
Well, yeah. But I love the Persona soundtracks. I have them on my phone, like
Spotify.
My spoofy playlist. My spoofy. And I don't know, I love the Animal Crossing soundtracks too. Like they're always just so peaceful and like set the mood for playing it. I never like have the volume down when I play those games. I really want to play Odyssey now. I'm gonna play that today.
Totally. But thanks for sending that question over.
Thank you.
And so the next one, this is from James of Games with John and James.
Yes.
If you had an option of living in a video game world, what would it be and why? So this one is fun because there's a lot of worlds I'd like to live in, but then I think about it, I'm like, maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe it's not very safe. Or I don't know.
I mean, I'm surprised you didn't just say Stardew Valley.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, but also, like, maybe, I don't know. I feel like I would just be, well, I do want to have a farm someday. It is a goal of mine. I want to farm. I want to farm animals. You know, it's on the back burner right now, but I want to farm. So, yeah, probably Stardew Valley, because it's literally my favorite game, like, at this point. It literally is. Or Pokemon World.
Just be a Pokemon trainer.
I just want to be a Pokemon trainer. I feel like it would be so fun.
Yeah, you know, I'm not
I
gonna
try
lie.
to teach Tilly tricks, but she doesn't.
I'm not gonna lie. Living around the Hoenn would slap. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's all this surfing and shit.
Yeah, just like surfing on Pokemon and like flying in the air with your Pidgeotto or something. Like, it's just it just seems so cool. Like I want to be a Pokemon World. Yeah. Because remember, the logic is that they do attack you in Arceus. Never mind, you can die.
Yeah.
They can kill you.
Honestly, it'd be kind of cool living in Minecraft.
Actually, I want to live in the
Playing with
newest
blocks.
Pokemon game, so I can just glitch.
So you can ride
I can just
the
glitch.
invisible boatmobile.
Yes, I can just glitch around the world.
I want to give a good answer. Like a part of me really wants to live in like the world of like Yakuza 0. Just live in this wacky ass like part of Japan where like you could just get into a fucking street fight out of nowhere and then just brush it off and then like go play in the arcade or go sing karaoke. Like that, but that's a real place technically.
Yeah, that's why I was like, you can't say Persona because you can't just go to school. Also, because you didn't like going to school.
No. This one's tough because it really.
Unless you want to hang out with Teddy in the Shadow World.
The Shadow World. Yeah.
Good sing. Very good sing.
I'm trying to think. This is. Minecraft would be kind of fun, just playing with blocks.
It would be kind of fun in Minecraft. Or The Sims. But, like,
well, I'm pretty sure
you're
we
just
are.
God in the sky, though. Like,
I'm
that's what you want to be.
I'm pretty sure in reality we're in reality we're just a game of The Sims where the player gave up years ago. Let's be real. For the beauty of it, I'd kind of want to live in the Final Fantasy VIII world just because I love that game's like world, even though it's like mostly like military schools and
I'd
shit.
want to live in the One Piece Odyssey world because I just love One Piece.
You just want to hang out with Luffy.
I do. I want to be a pirate. No, just kidding.
Honestly, this one's kind of crazy, but I'd like to live in the Wipeout world.
Like the game.
No,
where you
not the game show, the freaking like racing series. Friggin' up, just like fucking hover cars like flying around and shit. That would be awesome.
Well, it would help you win wife.
Yeah, this one was tough. Thanks, James, for sending us that.
Yes.
Okay, so the next question, I'm not sure if these were actually sent to us or not, but when I sent out the poll for questions, some guy was asking questions, so I just kind of grabbed them as for the show. But they were from, I will credit them, they were from Good Moods 22. Mm-hmm. And one of the questions he asked was, what is the best video game narrative? Like the overall like plot, like narrative, like structure, like what's a game that you like utterly adored because of its like story and narrative?
Oh, Pokemon Black and White.
Pokemon Black and White? Okay.
Yeah, because that one has a really weird story and it's like cool and different and it's, I don't know, I love that game. So a lot of the games I play don't really have a set story.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't, so I guess that's because most of mine are like, yeah, you build a farm, let's go farming.
So to me,
Sonic 06,
no,
where Sonic Elise not only commits what's it called with the animals, and then
bestiality and necrophilia. Let's not touch that. Let's not touch
Sonic
that.
06.
No, but I guess narrative-wise, probably Tales of the Abyss. I love that game's
really
story.
Mean Sonic 06. Ow! He punched me.
I love Tales of the Abyss's story just because it's kind of a twist as it goes on. Like you start out like not knowing. The way the game is structured, it makes you really dislike the main character in the first half of the story, and then it kind of reveals why the character's this way, and there's a whole overarching plot. And I like the way like all the characters kind of work around each other and interact, and it builds this massive world, especially when you explore around and find all the side bonus materials and stuff. So I'd probably say Tales of the Abyss. And then he also asked most attractive video game character.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that one's weird.
That one's tough for me because I don't know. You'd probably have a better answer.
I mean, I could be the lazy answer and just say Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII or something.
That's mine. Tifa.
Well, yeah, she's Italy's most famous video game character.
Yes, and she's mine too. No.
But that's. I mean, was designed literally to be attractive.
Yes.
That was part of her design.
Even with her old graphics.
Well, no, the art was great.
I meant the in-game graphics.
Everyone looked like Popeye in that game.
Yes.
It was great. I don't want to cheat. There's too many. Like a lot of video game characters are made to be attractive.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't say like one of the JoJo's or something in the.
Oh, I mean all of them. They're all amazing. They're more anime characters, though.
Well, I mean, so are most RPG protagonists.
True.
Yeah,
All the JoJo's.
but yeah, thanks for sending those questions in.
Yep.
And then next we got, so now, Dylan from Offshore Gamecast. He asked, are there any games you and Alex just can't play together because of the sibling frustration it causes, whether it was games growing up or something more recent?
I know.
So let's
I know
just
the
cut straight to this.
answer.
Let's cut straight to the chase.
Lego Star Wars.
Lego Star Wars, because we were growing up and Alex liked to jump off the cliff repeatedly.
I just was a huge troll whenever we played that, and I just did everything to piss you off.
See, it's funny how like when I unlocked the invincibility power up, and we stopped losing the studs when you die, she suddenly stopped doing it because it wasn't funny anymore. Yeah, it's like we can never play those games anymore just because it brings back, well, I mean, they're great memories, but at the same time, it brings back so much frustration.
Oh, we probably get so mad. Oh, we should play again. We should. If we ever start streaming, we should stream Lego Star Wars.
The complete collection.
Yes.
At some point. That would be something. Yeah, that one was one of them. I'm trying to think. Was there any other? What was one of the games that made you throw the controller at the wall? Remember Rugrats in Paris made you
Oh,
do
yeah.
that because of the mini golf.
That game was ugh.
The mini golf.
Golf. No. I know we play the like Wii games, like the built-in ones that like came with tennis and stuff, and there's boxing.
Oh, Wii Sports.
Wii Sports. Honestly, well, a Mario Party, we'd get so mad at each other too.
Actually, we recently had that game of Monopoly with
Monopoly,
when our
that's-
friends. We had our friends over, and I won by doing absolutely nothing. It was great.
It wasn't fair.
I don't know how it happened.
Wasn't fair.
I just bought the two worst properties, and no, what happened was I bought the two worst properties, put giant hotels on them,
Yeah.
and then I somehow weaseled my way into owning the railroad,
Damn it.
because that's what I do every time I play Monopoly is I have to own the railroad,
Yes.
and then everyone just went bankrupt. It was great, and I just was like, I didn't even try.
Yeah, wasn't fair.
Yeah, but that definitely Lego Star Wars though.
Lego Star Wars.
That game brings back so much trauma.
We gotta play it again.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we'll stream. That will be if we start streaming. We're gonna stream that.
I gotta find out
first.
how to stream like from
Yeah,
PS3
teach us
then.
how to stream.
Yeah.
People can stream.
I'm sure we can figure it out. But yeah. So then the final question we got in, well, we have another one, but I'll save that for later.
Oh, boy.
What's your guilty pleasure show / game? And that was from Slade from the Video Game Club podcast, another friend of the show. So guilty pleasure show / game. So obviously guilty pleasure is a game that like you like, but you don't really want people to know you like, I guess.
Yes.
So a game's probably easier, I'd say. I mean, I love trash games though. Like, there's just something great about a trash game.
Yeah.
I mean, I do unobjectively enjoy playing like Bubsy games. Like those are pretty guilty pleasure-y. I think anime might be more interesting.
I know what my guilty pleasure show is.
What?
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore.
I don't know. I just like that's like the show I'll just put on and I can just watch over and over because it's so funny. I just love it. Jersey Shore is definitely my guilty pleasure show. And then I'd say my guilty pleasure game, it's actually an iPhone app and it's that 2048 game that like used to be popular. This one.
Oh yeah.
Where you slide the tiles.
2048, yeah.
2048, yeah, I never said it right. And that's whenever I don't have internet and I need to play a game, I just pull that out. And it's like, I know it's not popular anymore, but I still enjoy it. I still like playing it.
To me, I mean, plumbers don't wear ties.
Yeah, but that's nothing to be guilty over. That's just a work of art.
Honestly,
That's
a
not
lot.
even really a game.
It's great though. There's that one. I'm trying to think of another.
Oh! Balls!
But any like old game from that era, really. I
For
will s-
anyone who doesn't understand, Balls is a fighting game on the 3DO, and I am great at it.
I'd want to say my unhealthy love for the 3DO might be a guilty pleasure, but it's not really guilty because I'm fully admitting of it. I'm trying to think, like, I'm thinking for, like, anime, like, some of those borderline hentai shows that you watch every now and then. Like High School DxD, because you watch it just because it's such a trash fire at times.
Yes.
But yeah, other than that, probably those. Guilty pleasure games, though, like... I love trash fighting games. Those are my favorite. You said game already, or?
Yeah, I already said, yeah, it was 2048 balls.
Okay, yep.
Balls.
All right. Well, thank you for that question, dude.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and then the good, the bad, the backlog asked, when was the last time we sharded? Alex doesn't want to answer that.
All right, Bill, you answer first.
What? What? When I had the flu in high school and I was dying for like a week. That's when it was.
It was when I had COVID.
Yeah, it wasn't pleasant.
It wasn't pleasant.
I'm not sure if he said that as a joke or not, but I'm including it. I'm including it. I think it was Adam, but it might have been his co-host.
Such a random.
Yeah, but either way,
So random.
That happened.
Sucks. Oh.
But yeah, that was part of our Q&A session. Thanks everyone for sending in your questions.
Yeah, thanks for the people who sent in normal questions.
I'm pretty sure that was a joke, but I still wanted to include it. So yeah, other than that though, before we wrap this up, I really wanted to do a couple shout outs just because we've met.
Shout! Ow!
Why are you like this?
I don't know. I wish I knew.
But anyways, I wanted to shout out just a few of the people that we've like collabed with this year, or just like have been really close to the show for like a while now since we started.
Yep.
So I really wanted to give a shout out to obviously first of all Cade Call from Gaming Memories.
Yep.
For basically starting us out on this crazy journey.
Yep.
And also my two other biggest inspirations for this show. I wanted to thank Chris and Shane from Retro Hangover. Who I got to finally guest on their show, which was probably one of my top moments podcasting. I know they don't like it when I say that, but it's true.
Yeah.
And then Josh from Still Loading, another great good friend I've met over the years, and another inspiration for this show. Aside from that, though, I also want to shout out, we've done a few collabs this year. Obviously, I want to thank Kevin Schnickerman from Gaming with Passion.
Thank you.
For being a longtime fan of the show and for guesting on our Mario RPGs episode.
Yep.
Obviously thanking Matt for coming on, good friend of the show.
Yep.
I want to thank our friends Ben and Sunny for supporting us all the time.
Aw, thanks, guys.
Our mom, obviously,
Oh,
for
yeah.
being our biggest fan.
Yes.
And then a few other shows, podcasts that we've made friends with and since we've started this. I want to thank Dave from Remember 64.
Yep.
I want to thank Philip and Nave from Gaming Together.
Yep.
I want to thank Chase from the PlayCube Gamecast. I want to thank all the guys over at Hey Drunk Gamers for,
Yeah.
for introducing us to that amazing drunk show.
Yep.
I also want to thank Dylan from Offshore Gamecast. Obviously, Liv and Fruey
Yes.
from Gaming Together, along for not only having us on their show, but also for starting the freaking co-op podcast community. One of the freaking greatest Discord servers that I think we've encountered, and honestly, it's expanded this little community that we have so much. And then another few, I want to thank the guys over at the GameCube Was Cool, another podcast that had me on this year. I want to thank Dave Jackson from Tales of the Backlog. And I also want to thank Aaron from Aaron and Tommy's Super Pod Saga. And honestly, I want to thank everybody in the community, along with all the members of the Co-op Podcast Network, and anyone we've really interacted with over the years.
You forgot someone.
Thank you, Tilly, for being our constant
Our
nuisance.
honorary co-host.
A constant nuisance every show.
She's not a nuisance. She brings life to the show.
Rewatch the Simpsons episode.
And it was great.
Yeah.
Because of Tilly.
No, but once again, guys, thank you for constantly listening to this show. It's been a blast for 2 years, and
now it's canceled. No more. Just kidding. Imagine if we ended it like that.
No.
Just kidding.
I hope I'm not forgetting anybody else I wanted to thank, but yeah. Thanks again, guys, for listening, and can't wait for season 3. We still got one more episode this year, which we'll be getting to next week.
Yes.
But until then, guys, thank you for watching Gaming Collecting. The Gaming Collecting podcast can be found on all your major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple and Spotify. We're made on we're not made on Good Pods. We're made on Anchor Podcast, and you can follow us on all the social medias, Instagram, Twitter. I'm pretty sure Twitter will still be around.
Is this the one that's gonna come out on Christmas?
Oh yeah, and Merry Christmas to everybody!
Yeah, Merry
Because this episode comes out Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Kind of forgot about that during the whole episode.
Yeah. Well, I thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute, wait a gosh darn minute.
And also, happy holidays to anyone who doesn't celebrate Christmas.
Yes. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy day.
Yep. And
Happy.
Thank you to everybody who submitted a question to our Q&A.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, anyways, guys, we will see you all next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.